Let's not get distracted. Week 1 was a lot of fun, and I know you guys love the NBA, but we're here for the NFL. Week 2 will probably be just as much fun, dare I say, possibly perhaps more fun?
I don't know about more fun.
Eh,
Yeah, I don't know. Week 1 was awesome.
yeah, who knows? Firstly, there was 12 new starting quarterbacks around the league this year, which is just insane.
I did not know that.
Turnover. Yeah,
Good stat.
one rookie starter. Washington, the Washington football team was probably surprising everybody and upsetting a lot of bettors. The Ravens continued, and the Browns they look awful.
Did not look good.
We're back to 2020 with the Lions throwing a game away.
Oh my god.
Adam, Drew, do you guys have anything to say about your Week 1 NFL?
I just want to talk about our biggest risers from week 1
Well, okay.
and our biggest boomers after week 1.
I like this.
And so do I. Who's
And,
yours?
I'm pretty amped about it, so I'll take it first. It's Darius Slayton, and if you've been a follower here of third down punt, I was touting him back when we broke down the New York Giants and the NFC. What is that? East. And I was saying buy, and I heeded my own advice. I bought him from Drew actually in this past offseason with a first involved, so I paid for him because I believed in him, and he absolutely boomed here in week 1, and it was on beautiful national display on Monday Night Football with that
against
awesome
a good defense
against
too.
that awesome catch over the top. And here's why I think he's the biggest boom, because he was the forgotten rookie wide receiver last year. There's Terry McLaurin, AJ Brown, DK Metcalf, and Deebo Samuel were the big ones that everybody was drooling over, and Slayton didn't quite get enough credit, but I thought he was just in that tier as well, and he's playing with a rookie quarterback this whole time.
Yeah.
If you look at his profile, he's fast, he can jump high, he's an athletic freak. He had good dominator rating and a good breakout age. He had good production his rookie year with a rookie quarterback, and he has now obviously made himself the number 1 target here in New York. Golden Tate might come back, but Golden Tate's going to compete more with Sterling Shepard and be the more underneath guys. Darius Slay is the big play. Darius Slay is the baller. And the one thing that I want to point out that I love the most about is just a quick breakdown of film real quick. If anybody's on their computer, go to YouTube. Danny Dimes goes deep for 41-yard TD to Darius Slayton. Make sure you type in the whole thing.
I'm about to find it.
At the 31-second mark, I just want to break down real quick the route that he runs. You can pause this and come back to it once you've got there. But if you watch him come up on the defensive back, he pushes outside on this deep post, gets the defender out, and then breaks in. And then right at the 34-second mark, when he cuts in to slant in on the break on the post, look at the separation he gains in 2 steps. He goes from the DB being within hand's reach to him being 4 steps away, being wide open, and then makes an outstanding catch over top of Minkah Fitzpatrick while getting hit in the end zone. That play had the complete everything, good route running, great speed, great hands, strong hands, go up and get it, big play, and it was in a big moment, so they trust him. So I think Darius Slayton, I am all in on him. I think he's got top 12 future wide receiver, not this year, but down the line when he's maybe 25, 26, he could be pushing for top 12 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Darius Slayton a lot, and like you said, like I feel like his deep routes are really good, and him and Danny Dimes are definitely gonna build some nice chemistry.
I like the connection.
My riser is Henry Ruggs,
I know you love him.
and I know you don't lie because we got an argument, and you said that Brian Edwards was without a doubt the true alpha for the Las Vegas Raiders. He played more snaps because Ruggs got hurt and only got 1 target. Just watching the game, you could tell
Drew was
that.
so ready to say that.
Oh, I was so excited. Just watching the game, you could tell that Gruden drafted Ruggs to build his offense around Ruggs and Josh Jacobs with Darren Waller running underneath. Like he isn't just a deep threat, like what people think, just because he's a fast guy. People thought he was just a deep threat, although his first catch did go for 45 yards and almost went for a touchdown. But he got 2 end arounds for 11 yards. He caught an underneath route that he got tackled weird and hurt his knee on. That's how he got hurt. He is going to be so good and so athletic. And I'm so happy that Gruden's 10-year contract is tied to Henry Ruggs because he knows how he wants to use him.
I agree.
And he's going to. And he's going to be a wide receiver 1 for years to come after he's a wide receiver 2 this year. Next year, going forward, he's going to be wide receiver 1.
That's spicy. You guys want to know who my riser is?
I want to comment on the Ruggs
Sure.
Edwards
Please
thing.
do, honestly.
Look, I'm okay. So caught off a little off guard with that, Drew. But Brian Edwards did play a lot of snaps. He was not entirely involved in the offense like you would like to see. It was clearly more schemed around Henry Ruggs. But I think as Brian Edwards develops, he's going to be a late on-comer in this offense. I think that Henry Ruggs is going to start commanding the majority of attention on that offense because obviously right now it's Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
How do you beat the Raiders? You got to stop Josh Jacobs essentially. I think it's going to start to shift to Henry Ruggs is going to be a primary focal point because as we saw in his first touch, he could take it to the house just like that. So I agree. I'll eat a little crow on that. Ruggs looks very good, but I'm not done on Brian Edwards yet. I still have high hopes for him.
Real quick, would you guys drop Hunter Renfrow?
Yes. Henry Ruggs is playing slots out of the snap, or snaps out of
Depends
the slot.
that question always depends on who you'd be picking up.
Nobody.
Yeah, it does.
No, obviously not.
Hunter Renfrow would probably be like my wide receiver 125.
Yeah.
No way. He's in the top 60.
No, he's not.
No, he'd be rostered if he was in the top 60.
All right, what's your biggest riser this week?
My biggest riser is Jalen Reagor. He did go down early with an injury, but we could see that Carson Wentz really likes this guy. He targeted him 4 times, which is a good amount in a rookie debut, especially for only playing, limited snaps. He did catch a deep ball that really showed off his draft profile. Like, literally, Jalen Reagor was that deep ball. That's why they drafted him. He looked good for me. A guy that I would be targeting to draft or trade for, especially after a mediocre week 1. Yeah, I think he's gonna.
That's fair. I'm a big Jalen Reagor fan.
I do like Jalen Reagor.
I just don't think he was the biggest riser after week 1. He was
no, yeah, he might not be the biggest riser.
He looked better than I think he actually produced, so he might be a decent buy. That's a good target.
Another guy you could probably pick up off the waiver wire is Logan Thomas. I think he was Washington's second leading receiver behind Terry McLaurin. This guy saw 8 targets. He's huge. I take him just because he won the tight end spot, and he's getting used a lot. And, I mean, he could be this year's Darren Waller. You never know.
No, he's 29. He is a former Lion, though.
Nobody's this year's Darren Waller. Darren Waller is special, which we will talk about a little bit later. Don't think I forgot about that.
Yeah, this week we are doing our top. What number did we
top
reach?
15 for
top
each position,
15.
except for tight end because come on, who cares about the
who
15
cares?
tight end? Honestly,
so top 15 at each position. Adam, I think you're going to start us off at running back.
Yep. I think the first handful is not much to talk about, honestly.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody's got them in close to this order or maybe juggle 1 or 2. Christian McCaffrey, 1, Saquon, 2, Zeke, 3, Kamara, 4. Quick explanation, Christian McCaffrey, I think as everybody wants Saquon to be more valuable and better than Christian McCaffrey, but it's just so obvious he's not. Christian McCaffrey is that guy. I think he's in his own tier. I actually think the next tier is Saquon, Zeke, and Kamara. And you laugh at that, but Zeke is a top 2-3 running back every single year. Saquon Barkley has not been. And this start off for the year has not looked pretty for Saquon. I think he's going to struggle because, let's be honest, everybody that plays the Giants is just trying to stop him. Kamara, obviously, there. Here's where it changes up a little bit. At 5, I got Clyde.
I like that.
He looked good and heavily involved in that offense.
I have Clyde at 4.
Oh, okay. And he's tied to that offense for so long. I just have him cemented. He's just going to be good. Obviously, unless he gets hurt or has some other issues. I don't know. Off the field domestic abuse like
City
Kareem
has
Hunt.
never had a history of domestic abuse.
Number 6 is Miles Sanders. I know he didn't play week 1.
Interesting.
But these are dynasty rankings, and Miles Sanders is a stud. Joe Mixon at 7. I think he's going to evolve in that offense. Joe Burrow does like to move it to his running backs. We saw that with Clyde in college.
Do you have Mixon in your top 10?
He's around there.
I don't even have him in my top 10.
Really? Where do you have him?
I have him around 10.
11, okay. You have all the players I've named ahead of him so far? Miles Sanders?
No.
Nope. Okay. Well, we've got Cook then coming in at 8, Dalvin Cook. Derrick Henry coming at 9. I know that's your biggest fuss as you want him higher. Where do you have him?
6.
Not too much. Chubb at 10. And then this is where it gets a little blurry for me. I've got Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, Aaron Jones at 11, 12, 13, Eckler at 14, and Kenyon Drake at 15.
Did you not rank Josh Jacobs?
Oh, no, I had... Oh, dude. Oh, I didn't. I missed him. You're right. That's really disappointing because I'm really high on Josh Jacobs. I can't believe I missed him.
I have Josh Jacobs at 1.
He's my 5.
Yeah, I was going to say he would be right there. I can't believe I missed him. He'd be right there outside of that top tier. So I've got him right there with the Miles Sanders, Clyde tier.
Okay. That makes me feel better because when you just kept going over him.
No, that's really disappointing. I apologize. I'm really high on Josh Jacobs. I think he's one of the best runners in the NFL. I can't believe I forgot him.
Another question. You called Miles Sanders a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any basis to that other than he had a promising rookie season?
I mean, he had a very good rookie season. He was very good at Penn State. And watch him play. He is, when he gets the ball in his hands, he's the most electric player on the field. Watch him.
Can you say who you had after Joe Mixon again?
I had Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry.
That's
Why is
interesting.
Mixon behind Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry?
Age and durability for me.
So here's the thing with Mixon. I like Mixon, and I want him to be so good. It's just
they don't
above
even
average
throw
back.
the ball to him.
He's
and
never
that's
had
like
more
his
I think he's
best
going to. He's going to
attribute.
evolve more. Listen, he's always been tied into crappy Cincinnati teams. I think this Joe Burrow team is going to be good. And we're talking about dynasty, so I'm projecting over the next 3 years who I think is going to pretty much be better. That's kind of my dynasty outlook. And Dalvin Cook, I don't wholeheartedly believe in his health. He has never played a full
I agree
season
with that.
healthy.
That's fair.
So I don't know. It's really tough when every single year you're expecting your running back one to be hurt. Joe Mixon almost never has injury concerns.
Yeah,
He's there.
that's fair.
Derrick Henry, I could see why people would rather have Derrick Henry over him. Derrick Henry, here's my one gripe on Derrick Henry, is it seems to come in waves for him. He goes through 2, 3, 4 games where he's the best player in the NFL. And then he goes through, and not against him, it's because teams scheme to only take him out of the game. But then he has games like last week where he's only relevant because he got 34 handoffs or whatever he got.
He did.
Like, if anybody else is averaging 3.6 or 3.5 yards per carry, they're not getting the ball 34 times. There's no way that's sustainable for Derrick Henry. What's he going to have, 440 rushing attempts this year? That's insane. So, I don't know. I have him right around that fringe. I could see why you would have him close to that 5, but I think he's firmly behind that Clyde, Josh Jacobs, who I forgot to rank, Miles Sanders tier.
I do. I mean, I have Miles Sanders in like the close to 10 in the same tier as Joe Mixon. My thing with Joe Mixon is he doesn't catch a lot of passes. And it's not that I don't think he can, because like I think somebody like Zeke could catch a lot of passes. They just don't. With 17 games under Zach Taylor, he's never had more than 5 targets.
Yeah,
and if
I actually think they like Gio Bernard for the pass
so
catcher.
do I.
Gio's a good
Joe Bernard
pass
is
catcher.
in for the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, which was awesome for Joe Burrow. But if my running back is not catching 70 passes, I want them to be an elite runner, like a Derrick Henry, like a Zeke, like an Adrian Peterson, and Mixon is not.
That's fair.
I
But
agree,
here's the thing: is
but-
Mixon has that receiving age. Those players you just listed, Derrick Henry, Ezekiel Elliott, Adrian Peterson, are not great receivers.
Zeke's improved a lot as a
Mixon
receiver.
Zeke has improved a lot, but Mixon is a very good receiver. He's just not
In
been
theory,
given the
yeah.
opportunity, and maybe it won't come. I don't know, but I just like to.
That's fair.
I believe
That is fair. I like Mixon.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'd rank him at 7.
I can't believe you guys had the biggest gripe with that when I slipped in J.K. Dobbins at 12. I thought that was the one that you guys might.
Say you're 10 to 15 again.
Yeah,
10 to
J.K.
15
issue about
Dobbins,
that, too.
I could
10
totally
to 15,
see.
I've got starting at 10. Chubb, Taylor, Dobbins, Aaron Jones, Eckler, Kenyon Drake.
It's not bad.
No, I mean
It's a pretty solid list.
running back gets
Pass.
choppy around there.
Hey,
I'm past.
can we not talk about Jonathan Taylor a little bit more, because this guy was honestly the biggest riser after week 1.
Was he? He had 9 carries for 22 yards.
Well,
Yeah,
Marlon Mack.
but Marlon Mack,
Yeah.
He's gonna be there for sure.
the
he's gonna
thing
be
I like about
huge.
Jonathan Taylor is he caught 6 passes for like 70 yards.
Yes.
A halfway
That's
decent
fantastic.
receiver in college. They just
Yeah, he
didn't
was.
use him.
Yeah, I mean, not many colleges use their running backs for
Spread
pass catching.
offenses do, not
Somewhat, yeah.
Wisconsin run it down your throat 45 times a game.
No.
Drew, you have the top 15 receivers?
Yes,
sir.
I do. And I just like with running backs, I feel like the top like 4 are kind of universal.
Go through the top 5.
Top 5, okay. I have Nuck at 1, obviously. Like obviously. My
Obviously.
top 3 are Nuck, Tyreek,
Yeah.
and Vontae Adams. I feel
Sure.
like
That's
pretty universal with Michael Thomas at 4. Maybe that's not. Yeah, I feel like
Michael Thomas is universally like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I feel like that too. So maybe
we
Michael
all-
Thomas is a little low on mine, but like what Adam was saying when we were discussing the Saints, I feel like I just don't know how I feel about Michael Thomas. I feel like he is obviously immensely talented. It's kind of boring to watch. At number 5, I have Kenny Galladay. Number
I love
6,
that.
I have Julio Jones. 7, I have Chris Godwin. 8, AJ Brown. 9, Mike Evans. 10, Juju Smith-Schuster. 11, DK Metcalf. 12, DJ Moore. 13, Amari Cooper. 14, CD Lamb. And 15, Terry McLaurin.
Okay, well, I see D.
CeeDee Lamb's
Lamb
obviously too high.
at 14.
Here's the thing. I mean, I could have put somebody like Cortland Sutton there.
Did you say Juju
Stephon
in there at
Diggs.
all?
Yeah, he
He's
did.
10.
Okay.
I like
sorry.
Juju a lot. I've actually been trying to trade for him in our
I got
league.
him. I got him at 11. Okay.
I don't know. There's something about just watching CeeDee Lamb play, and he looks like he's just going to be so good.
Yeah, I do think he's going to be good. I personally have him as the wide receiver 1 in this class. Jalen Reagor right behind him. So I'm on board with that.
That's
but
kinda wild.
I don't know that I would have him as the top 15 right now. Plus, I think DJ Moore I have in the top 5, which I think is a little...
That's wild. I do like DJ Moore, but
Who'd you have higher, DJ Moore or AJ Brown?
AJ Brown's at 8, DJ Moore at 12. I like AJ Brown more.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like they're very similar players, to be completely honest. They're both really good with the ball in their hands. Both good route runners, both like very versatile wide receivers.
AJ Brown's a little more explosive. I think DJ Moore's a little better receiver.
Yeah, I think DJ Moore's probably like a better like traditional route runner and stuff.
I thought your list was pretty solid. One thing I did not hear an OBJ. Was there an
You
OBJ
did
in
not.
that list? No.
Tell me,
That's poopy, Drew.
what has he done in the last 3 years to deserve being a top 15 wide receiver?
Nah, I don't know. I mean,
He got hurt
3 years.
He got hurt 3
No,
years
he's
ago.
been-
3 years ago is when he broke his ankle.
Was it 3 years? But even the games that he has played, he's
Like last year.
last year
when
he had
he got-
1,000 yards.
Yeah, but he got
1,000
All
yards
of
as a
his-
wide receiver does not make you an elite wide receiver.
no.
anymore.
No,
He
it
got
doesn't.
That's the passing bar.
Jarvis Landry had better stats than OBJ across the board last year.
He's a better player.
Listen, I've got OBJ at 12 personally. I could see why you aren't in love with him. His situation's kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
He just it's weird, but he's a hot and cold player. It just seems like, and Baker's going to continue to throw to him because Baker's job is on the line. I mean, he's going to get 10 targets a game. That's the
Yeah.
reason why I like him. And
3 catches week 1.
He's super talented. Come on, that's going to improve though. Nobody has a 30%. What did he have? 9 or 10 targets?
Yeah, 10
10
targets.
targets.
Okay,
I
you
mean,
have-
yeah,
you
that's
have-
going to improve, but
You have 9, 10 targets a game. You're going to be walking, especially somebody as talented as Odell. Your floor is 5 catches for 50 yards.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
would
mean,
you-
you're taking 10 targets every week.
so would you want DJ Moore, who
Yes.
a 22-year-old with
Yes,
I mean,
I
obviously,
would.
you
I
have
got
Yes, I
DJ
would.
Moore as number 5.
You have DJ Moore. OBJ and Juju Smith-Schuster basically put up the same stats last year. Juju Smith had like 100 less yards. Would you rather have the 22-year-old doing that or the 27-year-old?
I've got Juju 11 and OBJ at 12, so I have
Yeah.
him slightly higher. But a couple people I have right below OBJ are Cooper, Diggs, and Metcalf. Just because I think that is the tier in which you do not necessarily, you're not at top 5 wide receiver potential. All the wide receivers above them have potential for top 5 wide receiver. I think
Fair.
Odell has that too. I don't see it as Cooper, not consistent enough. Diggs, I just don't see him as a top 5 player. Metcalf maybe down the line, but obviously that remains to be seen. So
That's fair. I like
agree
looking
with
at
that.
floor too. I think Amari Cooper has, while his ceiling's not as high, I think he does have a higher floor. He's just kind of boomer bust, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I mean, he is consistently a top 15 wide receiver.
yeah,
DK Metcalf to me definitely has top 5 potential, especially watching him week 1. He did have one really bad drop, then made up for it with a
I think he's a little
45-yard touchdown
yeah,
fourth and long.
He's paired with the best possible person for him. He's a
Yeah,
little too
without a doubt.
one-dimensional for me. He needs to. It's a curl, a slant, or a fly for him every time.
Hey, it worked for Calvin.
Hey, I mean, I guess, but Kelvin was a little
You
more
gotta
nuanced
admit,
than
on
him.
that fly, he looked.
Kelvin was also a better at going up and getting the ball. DK Metcalf is
probably the best
better
of all time at that.
running away from the defense.
Other than Randy Moss, Calvin's probably the best of all time at contested catches.
You got tight ends next.
Yeah, I got tight ends. Number 1, I have George. Even though obviously Kelsey's right there. Kelsey at 2. Number 3, I have Mark Andrews. I actually don't expect this guy to finish here. I think T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant are more talented. And number 4 and number 5 are T.J. Hawkinson and Noah Fant. Number 6 is Jonnu Smith. Hear me out, guys. He had 8 targets.
No.
I think he's on a pretty good offense. He's trending up, if anything, whereas these next guys are trending down. Zach Ertz, get me off that boat. Darren Waller, 8 targets for 40 yards. That's
Darren Waller's trending down?
Brutal.
Johnny Smith had 8. Go on.
What did you just say? What is going
we can
on?
debate. We can debate. Austin Hooper. Ooh. I think everything that goes to the Browns just dies, and it looks like Austin Hooper's career is one of those things.
It's making $13 million a year. Can't be too bad.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not that bad.
Have you finished up your list?
No, I got one more.
Okay, please.
Number 10, and I had to search high and low for this one because truly 10 through like 20 is all pretty much just whoever you want to roll the dice. But I gave it to Chris Herndon.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
The Jets' second
no
leading
Dallas,
receiver.
no Dallas Goddard on the
Oh
list.
my god. You are not ranking players ever against
Dallas
us.
Goddard.
Chris Herndon over Dallas Goddard. Yeah.
Dude,
Horse Dallas Goddard. If Dallas Goddard didn't have Zach Ertz on his team, he'd probably be a top 7 tight end.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Ertz
Maybe
is on his team.
But you were
and
just talking about how Ertz is on decline.
he is on the decline, but he's
So you
still
don't
on
think
the
the other
team?
best tight end in the league is on the incline then?
Do you think they trade Ertz?
The
'Cause
travesty,
how is
the travesty
Gobert
is
gonna see
obviously
the field?
Darren Waller.
Oh my god.
But the real travesty is Jonnu Smith ahead of Darren Waller.
You can't say Darren Waller had 8 targets for 40 yards when Johnny Smith had 8 targets for 34 yards.
Jonnu Smith had the worse stat line than him and has had a worse career than him. He's never been relevant, and he did not just because he had decent amount of targets week 1, he's more valuable than Darren Waller, the number 3 tight end last year.
Listen, I'm not a Darren Waller fan.
Okay, let's keep that list, please. Put it in our back pocket. Let's return to this.
I absolutely
I like
will.
the T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant. I like them ranked up there.
So do I. I love Noah Fant.
I would
He
probably
looked
stick.
so good in week 1.
I would probably maybe stick Irv Smith at 10. I guess I
Yeah,
would
he
have
didn't-
Dallas Goddard in there for sure, but I wouldn't have Jonnu Smith or Chris Herndon in there.
I like the hot take. Chris Herndon is definitely an off-season darling.
Yeah,
He got DUI last year.
he has been the offseason darling
I
for
think
like
he's
2 or
gotten
3 years.
more than
Hey, there's beat writers saying get used to seeing Darnold to Chris Herndon in the end zone.
I agree with
We'll
him.
talk about quarterbacks next, but we're only doing top 15 quarterbacks, so I won't get a chance to mention Sam Darnold. He is a
He is not good.
He's done. His career, it might be Adam Gase, but it probably is Adam Gase.
It's 100% Adam Gase, like a Tannehill.
Yeah, I don't know. The tight ends.
Tight
I
end's
think
hard.
It's tough, but what did you say about Mark Andrews also? You didn't think he'd be there. You think Noah Fant and Hawkinson will overcome him?
Yeah, I
can see that.
obviously like Mark Andrews just because of the offense, but I don't know that he has as much talent as
I like
those guys.
Hawkinson. I think he's a monster.
Yeah, I like Hawk.
Shouldn't have
Love
taken
Noah
him at
Fant.
9,
I do
but-
like Mark Andrews a lot too, though.
Yeah,
I like.
yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
it's hard to
top
rank those
5
three.
is still
All right.
pretty solid. So.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the most interesting position in all of sports, the quarterback.
Interesting.
My top 15 starts off pretty basic. I think pretty much everybody
Cam
will have
Newton,
these
universal.
top 5. Patrick Mahomes at 1, Lamar Jackson at 2. Maybe you could go 1 and 2, swap with those, but I'm pretty sure everybody will have it like that.
Yeah.
Deshaun at 3. I could see why you would rather have Russell over him. Makes sense to me. Russell's balling. So I've got Russell at 4. And I've got Kyler Murray at 5. I've got Dak Prescott at 6. Joe Burrow at 7. Maybe a little high. I don't know. Then I've got Matthew Stafford at 8.
Ooh.
Maybe high on Matthew Stafford there. And then this next tier is 3 that I wasn't really sure how to rank. I think they're all pretty close. I'm not sure who I'd rather have amongst all 3 of them. Depends on what you're doing, rebuilding or going for it. I've got Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, and Carson Wentz. Then my next tier of all groupings of players. I'm sorry. Have Jared Goff in there too. Jared Goff is in that tier.
Can't stand him.
The next grouping of players, I don't like the quarterbacks that come after that. They're like the Kirk Cousins, the Phillip Rivers. Like those are the win now quarterbacks that come after that. So I took a shot on a grouping of some young quarterbacks. So after that, I've got Danny Dimes at 13, Tua at 14,
Ooh.
Drew Lock and Gardner Minshew tied at 15.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, you're wearing a Gardner Minshew
I
shirt.
like that.
So are you buying into the Gardner magic?
I without a doubt am.
A little bit. I mean, he's looked good. Even if Jacksonville doesn't keep him long term, somebody else is.
Yeah.
I was a little. I remember when we talked about him, I said he'd be maybe a journeyman, more of a backup. Maybe I'm proven wrong about him. Maybe he's that.
Yeah, and just one.
Yeah, I said he's
performance. Is this an overreaction?
It's not
one
a
performance.
He
Look
was
at last
good.
year.
He was pretty good last year.
He was good last year, but he actually no, yeah,
As
he
a
was
rookie
very
quarterback,
good last year.
He was
No,
good
you're right.
last year.
20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
And he was solid last year for a quarterback. He was very good for a rookie quarterback, and he started the season good.
Yeah.
Here's what I like about Gardner Minshew and why I have him at 15. He kind of holds his own fate in his hand. He goes out there and wins 7-8 games. They're gonna have pick 16, 15.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to draft a quarterback there. Gardner Minshew's their quarterback.
Yeah.
Then the next season they improve and maybe he goes for 9 wins, and then they're like, oh crap, Gardner Minshew's our quarterback now.
Yeah.
But if he goes out there and lays an egg and he gets 2-3 wins, they're going to draft a quarterback. So he controls his own destiny, and
I think he likes that too.
I agree. He seems to thrive under that. He's a wild dude. But
Here's what I love about Gardner Minshew is like when you watch him play, the dude just makes plays.
He's good.
He's super elusive behind the line of scrimmage. He does not have a lot of arm strength, and you can tell watching him play.
Yeah.
But he has pinpoint
He's got
accuracy.
accuracy,
He does.
yeah, for sure.
He's like Alex Smith. I told him that I said when we were talking about the Jags, he was going to have an Alex Smith like career, and I think he's going to.
Hey, 19 of 20 is an unreal. That's like Tom Brady.
so does anybody have any disagreement with the Burrow up at 7? I thought and Matthew Stafford at 8.
Yeah. Burrow's no.
Where do you have Burrow
no.
then?
Where'd you get Burrow?
You'd rather have Burrow than like I'm sorry, I don't remember your list exactly.
I have Burrow right after Dak and Kyler, and right before Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, and then Danny Dimes, Tua, Drew Lock, Gardner Minshew. I'd definitely rather have Joe Burrow over all that last tier.
Yeah.
And the tier right that I had behind him is all more win now quarterbacks. And Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan are obviously past their prime. But
Yeah.
My biggest gripe with your list was Kyler at I think 7 or something.
5.
5. And then Deshaun at 4?
3.
3? What's up with that?
What do you mean? What's up with that?
I mean, obviously, Deshaun seriously struggled without that pure wide receiver one that he can throw to, and Kyler just gained all of that from literally Deshaun. He just gave it to him.
He did. Look, here's the thing. I see what you're saying, but if the floor and what you say is Deshaun Watson being trash without his new whatever or without his wide receiver one, he got 23 points against a good defense.
Well, I will say that, but for that garbage time touchdown.
Wait, does fantasy
No,
count
fantasy
garbage time
does,
points, Drew?
But
Did Blake?
If we're talking about garbage
Drew,
time,
did
let's
Blake-
not talk about Kyler last
Drew,
year.
did Blake Bortles win you the Golden Bear 4 years ago with garbage time?
It's 5 years ago, and yes, he did.
Yeah, okay. Garbage time counts in fantasy. And Kyler's lights out amazing game. He had 4.5 more points than Deshaun had.
no,
And
I don't think
Deshaun
he had a lights out amazing
Deshaun
game.
has completely new weapons, and not just new weapons. It's not like, oh, here's DeAndre Hopkins' new weapons. It's, hey, my weapons are new and they're now worse than they were before. So I
don't mind
could
that.
see why you would have Deshaun and Kyler right there. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of Deshaun. He's more proven, and he's proven now. He just played in his first ever game without DeAndre Hopkins and put up 23 points.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
What's your
but
floor is 20? That's amazing.
I just take Kyler because he now has arguably, one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver. That gives him the edge. Where do you guys have Cameron Newton?
Best fantasy quarterbacks don't always have the best receivers.
Yeah, no,
No.
that's absolutely true. Like, just
I
look
got
at Tom
Cam
Brady.
Newton actually right there. I was really struggling with him because I'm a big fan of Cam Newton actually.
Yeah, I threw him in at 15.
See, I had him ranked around like 13, like right after that tier of win now quarterbacks.
That's
but
where I have him too.
But then I was looking at these new upcoming quarterbacks. I would rather have Tua over him.
Yeah.
I would rather have Drew Lock and Gardner Minshew over him.
Yeah.
That was kind of the decisions I was making. And Danny Dimes almost is a no-brainer to have over Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Because
I
he's kind
think
of
I'd take,
outperforming Cam Newton and is younger. So
Cam Newton over Drew Lock, just because
Maybe. I
that
don't know if I
rushing.
He does. Drew Lock does have a high ceiling.
I could see
He
that.
does absolutely.
I have two gripes with you. Actually, I guess just one. I do kind of agree with Joey Burrow, only because that 2-minute drive he looked absolutely.
Oh yeah.
He looked like he belonged as one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Did you see that rushing touchdown he had? Too?
Yeah, it was
He
fantastic.
looked like a runner.
Yeah.
He looked good.
It was absolutely fantastic. The
Solid
one gripe I
debut.
have is we were talking about Cam Newton, about the white Cam Newton.
Oh, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's
Huh.
was
I have
out
Josh
of-
Allen at
You're
6.
right. I feel like I should have Josh Allen in there.
I would have
I'm
him
not-
before Aaron Rodgers and
I'm not nearly
Matt
as high
Ryan.
on Josh Allen as, but you're right. I should have him. I would have him. I can't believe I forgot
in
him.
that 10 to 15 range.
I would have him right at the Jared Goff.
Oh God, don't get me started on Jared Goff.
I mean,
Drew, where do you have Josh Allen?
I would have
I would
Josh
have
Allen
him in that 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, I would have Josh Allen right ahead of Jared Goff.
Yeah.
So
I
right
put him
around
at
the Carson
6.
Wentz, Matt Ryan.
I
Aaron
love that
Rodgers.
rushing.
Yeah, he's
He's
literally white Cam Newton. He had
Yeah.
more rushing attempts than his running backs.
Yeah, he's
Do
And
you know
he's better than them.
Do you know what's crazy about Kyler too? Is last week he rushed it 13 times, only got tackled once. He either slid or ran out of bounds on 12 of his 13.
Yeah,
It's
he's
that
good at-
baseball background.
yeah for sure.
Yeah.
You guys want to do a couple overreactions to finish our show off here
Oh,
today?
I
yeah.
would
Because
love to.
nothing says fantasy football like overreactions and trading Alan Hearns for Jordy Nelson, right, Vaso?
Let's not point fingers or name names. What's your biggest overreaction?
Well, the biggest. Are you asking the biggest overreaction that I believe in, or just an overreaction that I think a lot of people will have from this?
Sure, give me one that you believe in.
One that
Something
I-
you back.
One that I back is that either DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams will be the wide receiver one this year. And it's an overreaction because neither of them have been it for, I guess DeAndre Hopkins was a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
but I feel like everybody's hot on that Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, Tyreek train. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of these two. These two are target hogs. They're clearly the alphas in their offense. And it looks like they're going to be a high caliber offense that they're both a part of. So I think that one of those two will be the wide receiver one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. And do you guys want to hear about Russell Gage? That my overreaction is that he finishes as a top. I mean, I want to say wide receiver too. I want to say he's
Top 24?
between 13 and 24. Yep.
Oh, I love that one.
Dude, Matt Ryan is slinging it. He is.
He is slinging. I mean, their defense is bad, so he's gonna be slinging it the whole year.
I
And
know.
even
I know.
year Matt Ryan, I told you guys.
And
even
Russell
year Matt
Gage
Ryan
is
is a real
just stepping
thing.
into that Austin Hooper role.
Yes, I thought it was gonna be Hayden Hurst, but it seems like a lot of the targets are going to Russell Gage. Isn't that right, Adam?
12 targets. I will take that any day of the
Just let me know when you guys are done. Are you guys done?
Hey,
Listen,
Adam, do you remember when you were saying in the offseason when me and Drew were hyping up Russell Gage that Russell Gage was nothing and never going to be anything?
listen, I'll eat a little crow on Russell Gage. He had a very good week one. But there are some things to consider in it. He's absolutely not going to finish the year as a top 24 wide receiver. You guys are smoking some good stuff if you truly believe that. Listen, he was very productive, but he was playing against the Seattle Seahawks, who had the 27th ranked passing defense last year.
I did think that was going to be better.
They did add Jamal Adams,
Yeah.
but Jamal Adams is not great in pass coverage. Jamal Adams
And
is
he's
more
probably
like
in the
a
tight
lock.
end.
He's
Is a
strong safety.
linebacker
Yeah.
that's a safety. Better, way better at playing against the run. So one of their biggest downfalls, and guess what else they lost? Jadeveon Clowney, one of their best pass rushers. This Seattle defense is not good. This, especially the passing defense. Wilson on the other side of the ball went absolutely bananas. 31
might
of
do that a
35 through 4
few
touchdowns.
times.
Yeah, but Atlanta's not going to be playing him every week. They're not going to be down 25
No, but I
points
think
from
their
Yeah, but
defense
Atlanta's
is bad.
defense is bad.
Matt Ryan threw the ball 54 times. Matt Ryan is not going to throw the ball 54 times. Matt Ryan's not going to get to play Seattle's 27th ranked defense. On the other side, everything amounted perfectly for Russell Gage to get that involved in the offense. Everything. That offense, everybody knows is going to run through Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Todd Gurley. There's no Here's the reason why Russell Gage will not be a top 24 wide receiver. The Atlanta Falcons' goal and game plan is to throw the ball 30 times or less. Guaranteed. They want to be running it with Todd Gurley 20 times, probably Ito Smith 5-8 times, and Brian Hill a couple times, and play that style offense. They do not want to have Matt Ryan dropping back 54 times and targeting Russell Gage 11 times. He's everything. The stars align perfectly. I'll let you have it. Congratulations. Overreaction. You guys hit a diamond in the rough. Sell your Russell Gage stocks. If you listen to Third Down Punt and bought him, sell him now.
Do you know why you're wrong?
Please tell me.
Okay, their game plan is not to have Matt Ryan pass 30 or less times because his whole career he's been a gunslinger and he's never had less than 4,000 yards. So there's going to be volume in the passing game.
I agree.
Last year they had 2 1,000-yard receivers with Calvin Ridley and Julio. How many yards did Austin Hooper have? 850 or something. He had over 800 in 13 games.
Hayden Hurst
is not going to step into that. Hayden Hurst is going to have 500 yards.
He's going to have, but okay, so he went from 800 to 500, so now you have 300 yards.
Russell Gage had 500 last year.
Okay, so all of the 300-yard difference is going directly to Russell Gage.
Yeah,
and not to Todd Gurley, a very good receiving back.
Is Todd Gurley a better receiving back than Devontae Freeman? Because Devontae Freeman had 70 catches last year, 500 yards as well.
Well, Devontae Freeman was a shell of himself last
year.
Year.
But he was still holding his own in the passing game.
He was a dead body in the backfield that they were just
I'm just saying, the ball to. That offense is going to have 2,000-yard receivers, obviously. Then somebody's going to step up for that 700 to 900-yard range, and it's going to be Russell Gage catching 75 passes for 850 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Listen,
and that would put him as a right around wide receiver 24.
Last year, Matt Ryan threw the ball over 50 times one time.
Okay, so he's not going to throw 54 times.
So we got that as week 1, so we could all overreact to that. If you look back, and their defense was not good last year, and Matt Ryan was throwing the ball a lot, he would have games. I'll just kind of go down the list here. 34, this one's 53, 46, 36, 27, 36, 31, 46, 34, 35. These are about how much
35 to 40.
They're going to be trying to get it, and they just now signed Todd Gurley. They didn't side Todd Gurley so that Matt Ryan could go out there and keep throwing it 35, 40 times a game. They signed
Todd Gurley can block.
Todd Gurley did not sign a big contract. And you can't say Devontae Freeman last year was a shell of himself when Todd Gurley is a shell of himself.
I am so disappointed that this podcast is talking about Russell Gage for another extended period of time. Does anybody else have another overreaction, Drew?
I do.
Corey Davis is the truth.
Corey Davis is going to finish with over 1,000 yards this year.
I could get behind that.
I can get behind that.
He's currently on pace for 1,600.
Dude, he looked amazing. Did you see that toe
catch was insane.
Oh my god!
So maybe he's just the Devontae Parker of his draft class.
Maybe, but here's what is going to work in his favor. I could see him getting 1,000 yards. He's never been a touchdown guy. He's been more of a yardage. What is his rookie year? He had 800 some
and 3 touchdowns.
Now AJ Brown is dealing the DB1.
Yeah.
And the rest of the focus is going on stopping Derrick Henry. So I could totally see Corey Davis quietly sneaking up for a 900,000-yard season. I'm not sure I buy the 1,000 yards. That might be a little overreacting, but I could easily see him push for 950 a Devontae Adams season, 980 yards, maybe like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's not Devontae Adams like, but I guess I like that overreaction.
Yeah. I do have another one if you guys want to go before me.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
I might have 2 more. We'll stick with one more.
I got one more too. So
Dallas Goedert outperforms Zach Ertz this year.
No.
You don't think so? I mean,
That's an overreaction.
That's an overreaction.
That's an overreaction.
Would you trade Zach Ertz right now for Dallas Goedert?
No. To be honest, I don't know if I'd want either of them.
That's fair. But no, I don't think so. I think Zach Ertz is still the best receiver on that team. His hands are unconscious. He's Carson Wentz's buddy. Like, legitimately, he's his go-to. So I could see that being close. Maybe like Zach Ertz is like tight on 5. He's like tight on 7 or something, or 8.
Zach Ertz is definitely on the decline, but I would say just like 1 year ago or maybe 2 years ago, he was probably the best tight end in the game. Or
2 years ago, he had 115 catches.
Yeah, so Zach Ertz is, I mean, he has not fallen off a cliff. This guy's still there.
No, he has not. But Dallas Goedert's very...
No, Dallas Goedert's good. Dallas Goedert is
poking
definitely
the tires
good.
I'm trying to buy him.
And Philly does not want to pay Ertz, it seems.
That's more my thing. I think Goddard might be good next year.
I've got a little bit of a fun overreaction because it's probably one of the most popular sports players in the whole world, Tom Brady. Based on his first week, he looked pretty trash. I don't think it's that's tough to say. So my overreaction, whether or not I believe in it, we'll see, is that Tom Brady is going to have it's hard to say because back in 2002, who cares about fantasy, but the worst fantasy season of his career, barring when he was injured. Do you guys think that's an overreaction?
I don't think it is because I've been clamoring all off season that he's not the same. Watching him last year, which is kind of funny that he fell off after Josh Gordon became unsober.
Okay.
Because he was good 2 years ago with Josh Gordon. But I agree. Their offensive line isn't that good. I don't know. Like he can't move around the pocket like he used to be able to.
I think Ronald Jones looked pretty good in that offense.
He did look pretty decent actually.
Ronald Jones looked terrible. Were you guys watching this?
He had a couple good runs.
No, Ronald Jones looked great, dude. You
without a doubt had a
gotta
couple
look at the
decent
highlights
runs.
again.
You're watching highlights. That's your problem.
No, I didn't watch the highlights. I watched the game. I watched the game on Red Zone.
You watched the game on Red Zone, so you watched the highlights of the game.
Well,
you just outed yourself.
Red Zone after 4 p.m. is more so. It's not as many highlights as compared to like the 1 o'clock games.
Yeah, it's basically.
It's just 3 games at 4.
He had 17 carries for 66 yards and 2 catches.
Yeah, but he had a long run of like 15 yards.
Okay, so that means that the other
solid.
15 carries, he was worthless.
Maybe that's just the one run I saw of him.
Fournette had 5 rushes
for 5 yards.
Fournette was
and
not
one
good.
of those rushes went
Fournette
for
was
6 yards.
I never said Fournette was good.
Fournette
You
is
said
not.
Ronald Jones looked good. I said no, he did not.
I think
That
Ronald
does
Jones.
not mean somebody looked good in his place. Both people can look bad. If your running back is getting the ball 17 times and he has one 20-yard carry and still averages under 4 yards per carry and is only catching the ball a couple times, it's not looking good to me. I'm not saying he won't be better, but he didn't look good. I'm not on board. I think Tom Brady's going to have it's tough because he's had, such good seasons in the past.
Yeah.
I think he's going to float around where he did in the past. So maybe he will have his worst season, but his worst season, barring when he played 12 games in 2016, is when he played because he was suspended.
That 12 games he was incredible too.
Yeah, he was. He was quarterback 18 in 12 games. You extrapolate that out, that's top 10. But then you have to go all the way back to 2013 where he was top 15 quarterback. I think he's going to float right between 10 and 15.
Interesting. I don't think he's going to.
He's got too many weapons. He's got Chris Godwin.
He does have a lot of weapons.
Who's in concussion protocol, but
Scotty Miller.
Concussion protocol is probably one of the worst injuries you could have long term, but the best fantasy injury you could have because you're going to be good 1 or 2 weeks. It's not lingering, whatever, unless you're Brandon Cooks. And he's got Mike Evans, who's going to be healthy this upcoming week and get
Hopefully.
healthier. He's got Ronald Jones, who Vaso thinks is amazing, and then Leonard Fournette.
Good enough.
Leonard played him one week or less in that offense. He's going to get more involved.
So
He's
did
gonna be
Adrian
better.
Peterson. Look at AP.
Well,
Yeah, true. What's your point?
That's fair.
Okay, you forgot Scotty Miller, who led the team in targets.
And Scotty Miller, and they've also got Gronk, and I wasn't done, and OJ Howard.
And Cameron Brate.
They've got a good cast of players around that team. It seems that Tom Brady should be able to sleepwalk to a top 18 season.
I don't know
You would
about
think that, but he's
Gronk.
43. You also, their real mistake was cutting their James White and Dare Ogunbowale, who's now on the Saints, I believe. Just so you guys know. He's on Jacksonville, actually.
I'm glad you
good.
know where this guy is. He seems so important.
But no, I don't know. There's something about Tom Brady. You can just tell he's getting old. His arm is still very talented. I will give you that. But it's like he's scared of a pass rush now because I think he's getting so old. He's just frail.
Yeah.
And Tampa
like
Bay does
that.
not have a good line. And he was pressured a lot last week.
But
Although
here's the
New
thing:
Orleans
he
Saints
was
really good.
playing New England,
It's a bad
so
comp.
that's my thing.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New
sorry.
Orleans has one of the best rushing defenses in the
Yeah.
NFL. And I think the Buccaneers blueprint, that's why they took on Leonard Fournette too, and they have Ronald Jones, who I don't want to hate. He is decent. I don't want to pretend like he's not good. He's right around maybe running back
he's
20,
alright.
running back
Yeah.
25. He's not great, but he's serviceable. I think they want to run it with him 15 times a game. They want to run
So
it
do
with
I.
Fournette 15 times a game, and they want to have Tom Brady throw it 20, 25 times a game. They brought in Tom Brady to make the clutch plays when they need to win because they've got a good defense. and they've got good weapons. The problem is they had Jameis Winston at the helm who could do everything except for he would then make the stupid errors and lose them the game.
I love Jameis Winston.
They put in Tom Brady
He's
in
so
there
much fun to watch.
just not do anything and just not make those errors at the end of the game when they need to just get 25 yards for a field goal. Tom Brady will do that. Jameis Winston will throw a pick six. So I think that Tom Brady's going to have a much more controlled year. He's going to maybe only hit like 3,500, 3,800 yards and maybe like 25 touchdowns, but he's going to hopefully limit the turnovers.
Tom Brady is the first quarterback since 2013 to have a pick six in 3 straight games. Throw a pick six in 3 straight games. First quarterback since Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub was sweet in Houston. Tom Brady also threw a really, really bad pick where he overthrew Chris Godwin right into the safety's
looked
hands.
kind of like he could have stopped running his route.
It looked like he needs
Maybe.
Mike Evans.
He played.
Mike Evans
Mike
ran
Evans was
like
limited. He
a ridiculous amount of routes, I thought.
Everybody's
run,
hurting their hammies.
He did run a lot of routes, but I did not play Mike Evans because this exact same thing happened like 2 years ago. Mike Evans had a hamstring injury. He was doubtful. All of a sudden, he turns into questionable because he's a tough-ass dude and he's going to play it and then just doesn't get that many targets. Now, luckily, he caught a touchdown in this, so he acts serviceable. But I benched him because I'm like, he's going to go out there and get 3 targets, 2 catches for 15 yards. And that was basically a stat line. He just got a touchdown in there.
Yeah.
So he was hurt, clearly. And Tom Brady is going to start targeting more. And you look at the offensive game plan. They struggle on offense. Why do you struggle? Maybe one of the best receivers in the league is not getting his. That's maybe one of the reasons.
And I actually think Lattimore gets in Mike Evans' head. I don't think he likes that matchup. They've been definitely back and forth. Even in that game, I think they got a little physical.
Mike Evans was about to kill him.
Something else worth mentioning, talking about toughness. Jalen Reagor was supposed to be out 2 to 4 weeks with that shoulder injury, and I think he played last Sunday in 10 days.
Shoulder injuries are a little different though.
Yeah.
Most
Mike Williams.
Most of them are pain tolerance injuries.
Yeah.
So if you can bear the pain, wasn't Mike Williams? Anthony Lynn said the only thing he had to be able to do was be able to do 20 jumping jacks and he could play or whatever. Like that was literally his qualifying because it's shoulder movement.
Yeah.
So like
he was out there making diving catches.
It's all about pain tolerance with
Hell of a
shoulder.
catch,
the
one
knees
hit
and
he took.
ankles have way higher issues and risk of re-injury versus shoulders is more just like can you play through.
That's why I legitimately think Michael Thomas might miss 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, that high ankle sprain is not good.
Yeah, that's what Saquon had last year, where he was supposed to be out 6 to 8, and he came back early at 4 weeks.
Go ahead.
If Saquon played bad with a high ankle sprain, and Saquon is like the most massive beast of a human,
I mean, Michael Thomas is right there too.
Yeah,
but
I put Saquon here.
So speaking of Michael Thomas being out, I want to take a small victory lap on Emmanuel Sanders in 3rd down punt. I was telling everybody to go eat him up because I said my bold call. I don't exactly believe in this, but my bold call was that he would be a top 12 wide receiver this year. I think was much more likely to be a top 20 wide receiver. But now if Michael Thomas is out, he wasn't super involved last week, but he got a few critical targets, one on a critical 3rd down, and he got 2 red zone targets, one for a touchdown. So even though he was a brand new offense, he only got 5 targets. I expect that to kind of go up. He's probably going to sit around the 7-8 target range would be my guess on average, and they're going to be super high quality targets because Michael Thomas is going to be drawing away the coverage. Now that Michael Thomas is out for 4 to 5 weeks, Emmanuel Sanders is going to be getting 10-ish targets a game, I would assume. So he's going to fit right, hopefully, into that. So I like to take that small victory lap. I'm hoping Emmanuel Sanders can push out a top 15 season.
I would like to take one more small victory lap as well. I've taken a few today.
Just pat yourself on the back, Jeremy.
I think it was like our 2nd episode. I said if Sammy Watkins gets targets, I could easily see him having a 70 to 80 catch season for over 1,000 yards. And he had an incredible week 1.
He did.
I think we scoffed and laughed at you.
How many times have we been here before, Drew?
Hey, man, this is a new season.
Hey, man. How many
He
times?
did the same exact thing last season.
I think addicts always say the same thing. Hey,
but
man,
last season was
different this time.
Last season was different.
You're like a dude who's been cheated on by his girlfriend like 6 times. He's like, she's changed.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill didn't play week 1 last season. She got hurt.
Different, man.
So he's out targeting Tyreek Hill week 1.
I'm
He's
actually
better than Tyreek.
slightly nervous. I know I'm high on Tyreek, and I've been boasting him in this show. I'm a little nervous because it seems stupid to say, but how good Patrick Mahomes is. He throws. He can throw to anybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, I could play wide receiver in that offense and put up
and
600
probably
yards.
have 1,000 yards.
Maybe like 5 touchdowns too. Like who
I'd
cares?
be a mean red zone
Just
threat
straight
in that
up.
offense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tyreek is obviously going to get his, but there could easily be weeks where Tyreek gets 5-6 targets because he just doesn't need to throw the ball to Tyreek.
Whoever. Demarcus Robinson is.
Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, those players are needed by their teams.
Yeah.
Tyreek is a huge
Tyreek
piece, and to win a Super Bowl, they need him. But to win any given game, Patrick Mahomes could do that with me and freaking Brian Scalabrine at wide receiver. Dude.
Brian Scalabrine was an elite athlete in college.
All right, we've droned on for quite a while. Less overreaction. James Conner, I'm out. I'm
Done.
totally out.
Yeah, I wanted to hold out hope for him, but
I liked him so much that
So
one
do
year
I.
he carried me. He was amazing.
6 rushes, 9 yards, and then I thought Benny Snell looked.
he looked a lot better
Pretty
than
good.
James Conner. I took James Conner as my RB3 in one league.
Here's-
my one redraft league this year.
Here's James Conner's issue. He's always been pretty good to very good when he's played. He's just gotten hurt.
Always hurt.
And even this year, say he didn't get hurt and he had this abysmal game 1 like he did, next week he would still probably get 15 carries
Yeah.
and that would be his bounce back and he would have 70 yards and a touchdown and be like,
Yeah.
oh, James Conner's back. And the Steelers would then start giving him the ball again. But now that he's hurt again, he just opens the door for another opportunity for someone to step in.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's
I
rough.
guess we'll be back next week to break down
Our next overreaction.
Our next overreactions, and maybe we'll do some buy sells or something.
Drew, you did a real quick before we end wide receivers for this upcoming week.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
I don't have that anymore, but I do have running backs for this upcoming week.
Okay, running backs for this
sure,
upcoming
sure.
week. I don't want to hear all of them. I just want to hear your biggest surprise running back so we can tell our people to go out there and trade for him, and then we can come back and pat ourselves on the back come next week in week 2.
Or get killed.
I would say my biggest surprise running back is, and let me check the schedule real quick. I forgot who this team is playing.
Classic Drew.
Yes, I was not expecting this to put me on the spot.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay. Okay, yes, this makes a lot more sense now. The number 2 running back I have for this week, just for this week, this isn't a ranking.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a
Right,
DFS.
Yeah.
Is Malcolm Brown.
Whoa,
Because
okay.
last
oh
week
boy,
he looked.
Go trade for Malcolm
Last
Brown.
week he looked
Please
so
don't.
good. They're playing Philadelphia. Does Philadelphia have
I
a good
shouldn't have-
defense?
I shouldn't have
Do they
asked.
have a good defense? Tell me.